I am on a mission to read all the Agatha Christie books, and I'm thrilled to share my journey through Agatha Christie's Hallowe'en Party, my 15th Christie read, and compare it with its movie adaptation, A Haunting in Venice. Let's dive into Hallowe'en Party first. The most amazing thing about Agatha Christie books is they are still one of the best crime fiction novels out there. This book came out in 1969 and people find it interesting enough to make a movie about it in 2023. Isn't that amazing? The story unfolds around Miss Oliver, a renowned crime fiction author with an intriguing affection for apples. Things take a dark turn when a murder linked to apples occurs. The victim, a young girl who claimed to have witnessed a murder but was notorious for lying. This baffling scenario calls for the expertise of Hercule Poirot, summoned by Miss Oliver to unravel the mystery of this Halloween party turned tragic. While discussing the plot, I actually enjoyed the book overall. I found myself engaged in the narrative. The blend of Miss Oliver's apple-induced trauma and Poirot's method and his investigation, which uncovers layers of past incidents, was fascinating. The character gallery is rich, from the famous Miss Oliver to Judith Butler and Rowena Drake. Their interactions and backstories added depth to the mystery. Honestly, my number one suspect was Miss Oliver. A crime fiction writer who's always on a hunt for great crime mysteries could do anything to find or make a great story. No? I don't know. I just felt that way throughout the book. Judith Butler is a friend of Miss Oliver, but their friendship, that too seemed fishy to me. And then there's Rowena Drake, the woman whose party is where this murder happens. I'm suspecting everybody. Christie's writing style, I think, remains consistent with her other works in this book. If you are new to her novels, it might take a bit to get into her rhythm, but once you do, it's a smooth sail. Now, my take on the book. It's a mix. Well, I don't know how to say anything without being biased. After I finished the book, I went on the internet to see what people think of it, and almost all the reviews I found criticized the book. It's considered the not so good Agatha Christie book, but let me try to tell you everything from my lens. Personally, I enjoyed most of this book. I started suspecting Miss Oliver right away. It made me laugh to see her unique predicament where her love for apples goes through a morbid change, And then, of course, you begin to suspect more people. You begin your own investigation in your mind as you follow Poirot. The results, complete entertainment and most often shocking revelations. The portrayal of the children in the book was particularly interesting, I think. There are a lot of children who are in this book. After all, it was a Halloween party, where which was organized for the kids when the murder happens. It's interesting to see how these kids didn't feel like children at all as I read the book. I like that about AC's writing. She didn't treat them as kids at all. They were just characters in the book that just happened to be less than 18 years old. However, the ending felt a bit disconnected, lacking in hints and logical ties, I would say. This sort of has become a recurring theme in Christie's mysteries that I've been reading lately, where the murderer's reveal seems abrupt and ungrounded, As the whodunit closes, you're like, this is fine, but it's not something that makes a lot of sense considering what I read. It's one thing to not be able to guess who's the murderer, but it's another when you plot the whole book with no hints and no connections and then drop the name of the murderer, We are reading the whole book, following this whole mystery, and you have just framed it like we can never guess it. Only and only Poirot will see the things which you as a reader won't even read in the book, and then only he gets to tell who is it. It was just something hard to connect to, that's all I am saying. Also, this book has a lot of comments regarding mental illness and the whole, okay, it's as weird in the book as it's going to come out of my mouth. There's a lot of discussion about children and that some of them should be in mental homes but aren't so they do hideous crimes and stuff like that. It just didn't feel right as I read all that. Here's this line in the book said by one of the characters: "I've been called out to look at many murdered children in the last 7 to 10 years. Far too many. A lot of people ought to be under mental restraint, aren't under mental restraint." And the whole book has multiple instances where a similar thing is said. First of all, it's overdone. I get what you're saying. Stop making the characters speak about it over and over. Secondly, sometimes it made sense, but most of the times it just felt forced. It was like the author wanted to make this point over and over, and so she did. It didn't connect with the conversation and definitely didn't need to be repeated so often, in my opinion. And sometimes it just felt disturbing and wrong. It's just a narrative choice that didn't sit well with me. Despite these issues, I still enjoyed the book and would rate it a 3.5 out of 5. Moving on to the movie, A Haunting in Venice. It's a complete departure from the book. The plot, the characters, and even the thematic essence are entirely different in my opinion. The movie introduces a supernatural element that is just absent in the book, which gives it a distinct, spookier feel. From how the murder happens to the characters and to even the theme, it's all changed. Most characters are different. Of course, there's Miss Oliver, Poirot, and some characters with the same name, but most are now different people in the movie. There's a Halloween party, but there's more stuff that happens, and the murder and the modus operandi is all different. In conclusion, the movie, although very different from the book, is an engaging watch in its own right. It offers a different flavor of mystery, contrasting the book's cozy mystery aura. And that wraps up my review of Hallowe'en Party and its movie adaptation. Whether you are a Christie fan or a casual mystery lover, there's something intriguing to discover in both the mediums. Have you read this book? Watched the movie? What are your thoughts? Comment down below, and thanks for watching.